Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. This reading isn't for everyone. I feel like I'm speaking to someone very much in particular who feels uninspired, who feels like they're facing the fact that they actually don't know what happiness looks like to them. What would make them happy? What would peace look like? Okay. I also feel like you've kind of reached the end of your tether with this and you are not happy about this, but you are no longer denying the fact that you aren't happy about this and you're feeling uninspired and you don't know what you're looking for. Okay, when I say you don't know what you're looking for, I'm referring to what is the thing that I want to do, to be in, to be like. What is that? I feel like you have outsourced a lot of your ideals. I feel like that's a trap that you're currently stuck in. I feel like a whole lot of ideas, information, stuff that's been put around you, you're starting to look at it and you're actually now looking at it with a lot of mistrust. It's caused a lot of confusion in your life and you're not sure whether you are the reason for the confusion or if it's the stuff. And I feel like you've reached this realization because you're looking at your inner world. You're looking at the fact that when you face yourself, you regard yourself as someone who has dedicated themselves to this idea of healing. But what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a gap between the ideas around what healing is and the ideas that have been put all around you. And I feel like you may not completely have had the presence of mind and the attention span. Okay, no offense to you. These are the words as they're coming out. And I mean all of this with love. You haven't had the presence of mind and the attention span to scrutinize where these two things are not aligned, where your ideas of healing do not align with the information that is put to you. And so this is a conversation around discernment and this place that you're in right now, this pause, okay, this pause from healing. You feel fed up. You feel fed up and you feel anxious. You feel like you've been led down a road and you kind of feel like, does this road even end? Does this road even lead to anywhere? Okay, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore. I'm not even sure where I am. Do I have the option to turn back and go back to where I started? You also are tired of this idea of pulling on your courage, your strength, you do not feel like you have more to offer this healing journey. You actually don't know. You actually don't know. And you're kind of at that point. What they're saying is that this is positive. And I know this is possibly not what you actually want to hear from me, but I can see that I'm speaking to someone who is tired of, backing sort of an idea around what to hope for. Let's put it that way. It feels like you've been told what you should want. And it doesn't look like that's available, not becoming available. And so you've kind of put your faith and put your trust in stuff that's not coming around. Okay? And they're saying it's that misalignment and you've stopped at this point to really look at what it is that you've been told and to start possibly being open to the fact that some of the stuff may have been distorted. Okay, it doesn't mean you cannot trust anyone. It just means perhaps some of the spaces you've trusted have not done right by you. not necessarily intentionally. In some cases, I see it as intentional, and in other cases, I see it as not. I think it's better to look at this as a part of building your own discernment around, why are you outsourcing ideas about what you should want, for example? And also, why would something that is good for you treat you in a way that is not good for you? Okay, so they're wanting you to look at that idea, and I'm going to repeat it. Why would something that is good for you treat you and show up in a way that is not good for you? Okay, so they want you to match those kinds of things. They want you to look at this, put the facts on the table. How has this been working for you? How does it work for you? And how much, let's say, have you put the blame on delays, let's say on yourself, when these delays are actually not things that you are in the control of? So let's say something that is meant to happen not according to you, it's according to, let's say, someone else. Something that is meant to happen has not happened. And so who's left disappointed? It's you. And what I'm seeing, I see you going back to sort of believing the same person. I see that happening over and over again. I see you accepting an invitation, being disappointed, and then accepting an invitation from the same source again. That's how I'm seeing this. Okay. What I see you doing in the near future is questioning intent, questioning the source of any of this information that gets given to you, questioning what that intention is. Is this just an exploration? Is this person just playing? Is this person trying to deceive me? Is this person ignorant? What are the various reasons they would invite me into this belief or this wish or this whatever it is, this event? Why would they do this? Could there perhaps be another reason other than for my highest good? Are they even aware of it? So there are a lot of questions that are actually being presented to you right now. And what the purpose of these questions is to sharpen your discernment. There are so many swords in this reading. I feel like the person I'm speaking to has also been dealing with not just mental fog. You could actually feel like it's just a headache. Some of the things that you used to enjoy, you no longer enjoy. Things that were meant to bring you peace aren't bringing you peace. I'm seeing doom scrolling, waiting for something better, is what I'm seeing. Okay. I just want to give a disclaimer here. I'm not a medical healthcare professional, mental or emotional healthcare professional. I'm not. So please use your discernment. I always say that as soon as I start touching on something that could be misconstrued as psychological advice. Okay, when I'm not accredited for that kind of stuff. So please, for entertainment purposes only. What I'm seeing here, and I don't want to make this sound like, you're starting your healing journey again, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that everything that has happened up until now is actually just as it should have happened. I have not witnessed this kind of sort of healing journey and turnaround. I've not read this does not feel like an energy that I have read for before. But this is a reading for someone who is in a reckoning with themselves. And what I'm seeing is the last thing you want to hear is that the healing journey has just begun. That's the last thing you want to hear. And that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you're at a decision point where you're about to pivot in terms of your approach to absolutely everything to do with your healing. You are not going to subscribe any longer to, and I'm not telling you what to do and not to do, it's just how it's coming out. But so it feels like I'm picking up on your new attitude. Okay, that's why I'm speaking like this. I feel like you are going to not subscribe anymore to anything that leads you down the garden path. Okay, I'm going to put it that way. And every invitation that is presented to you, I feel like you're going to take it and you're going to look and you're going to say, well, actually at face value, this does not make sense. Okay, this doesn't actually make sense. Why would I wait? Why would I do that? Is kind of what I'm hearing. If you look in your advice, you've got the World and the Empress, and this is your advice. So this is to say, you have the opportunity actually here to close the cycle on any part of your path that makes you go back to the beginning of something, that makes you put more of yourself into something that clearly is not working, that makes you sort of reinvest in something that, like a bad investment. No more bad investments. Okay, no more bad investments. Your hope and your faith and your trust are very, very valuable to you. They are. You're going to be recognizing that because I mean no offense, but I feel like you have not been aware fully of how valuable those things are. And so when you take your coin of value and you insert it in a place that's it's going to just sink in. Every day you come back and you put your coin in there and you come back, you get nothing. You put your coin in and you come back and you get nothing. You're not going to do that anymore. You're going to be like, that's my coin. So I can stand in front of this machine and watch what happens, but I'm not inserting my coin in there until something comes out. Okay? And you kind of, nothing will actually come out if you don't put your coin in, right? But it's to say, you'll be able to recognize now sort of perhaps why all these various machines are even laid out in front of you. And when you finally do decide to insert your coin somewhere, you're going to be like, okay, that one looks like it's worth backing. That one looks like something I could put my effort, hope, faith, trust, wish into. Okay, and you start also thinking about, where have all your coins gone? I think it's time to be a little bit more skeptical. That's how I feel. And I don't want to create a paranoia here. But skepticism is a part of discernment. Okay, when we are overly trusting, we then believe everything. When we have a dose of skepticism, we're open to a different intention being behind what we are investing in. It doesn't mean we become a skeptic. It doesn't mean that. It means we grow in our discernment, and it means that when something is worth our time, worth our energy, we're then able to tell more. One of the things that needs to happen here is then also like a look at yourself and what kind of life do you want to build? What kind of inner world do you want to build? Okay, because this is giving me the energy of, we teach people how to treat us. It gives me something like that. And so the buck stops with you. So you're the one who can call anything at any time in your life. And if you decide that you are worth something, let's say X, okay, you then behave according to X. And when Y comes along and Y sounds like, no, this is not gonna balance me out. This does not sound like it's matching my energy given where I've decided my energy is. That becomes a big part of your discernment. How you discern what to choose, what to back, what to invest in is actually based on, is this balancing me out? Or is this actually coming to take from me? No more takers. You're a giver. You're a giver. It's important for you to give in places that don't just take. Okay? I feel like this has been a tough one. A tough reading, a tough message to deliver. I looked at the cards for some time and I thought, am I going to post this? And I decided that I am going to share this message. Because you are not starting your healing journey again. You're literally taking your entire healing journey and you are reflecting and you are reviewing and you are turning the coin. You're flipping the script. They're saying you're also very ready for all these questions. It's like you're turning all the lights on so you can see clearly all around you. And because you're adding now this dose of skepticism rather than just this blind hope, this blind trust, you're going to be seeing clearly with more nuance. Okay, this reminds me a little bit of when I went through it happens now and again, I watch true crime. And I watched true crime, and I even watched this one show with this lady called, I think, Lauren the Mortician. And so she talks about like embalming bodies and all these things. But I realized that part of the reason why I watch true crime when I do, and when I go in, is because sometimes it's difficult to really digest and believe what people can do, what humans are capable of. Sick individuals. Sometimes we want to believe the stuff is not there. We sometimes don't want to believe in a wolf in sheep's clothing. We want it to be a sheep. And I saw a sheep somewhere here. You see, I saw a little lamb in the strength card. I saw it earlier, and the strength card came in reverse. And what came to me with the strength card was like, I don't want to be strong anymore. I don't want to have to fight. I don't want to have to be strong. Okay, and the lamb there for me is like innocence, and it's like believing the best in someone and believing you don't want to believe the worst, which means that up until now you may not have been able to actually perceive that the worst is possible. Hence, you've believed in these things that have led you down a garden path without really questioning what actually could this person be doing this for. Is there something in it for them to string me along? Is it possible? Is there something that they are after in me that I am giving them by constantly putting my coin in? How do they benefit? How do they benefit? What's in it for me? What's in it for them? And then you're going to start to see there are some places where there was more in it for them than there ever was for you. That's what they're showing me with this reading. And they're saying that don't expect that this is going to take long. They're saying this kind of pivot in a healing journey doesn't take as long as you might perceive. The kind of journey you've been on is the kind that almost relies on you taking long. It feels like that. I mean, not in terms of you relying on it taking long, not that the whatever system has strung you along is like that, but because you have actually taken the time, observed a lot, taken a lot of information in, they're saying it's like being in a dark room for a really long time, feeling your way around, touching all the surfaces. After some time, you're able to gather, okay, there's a couch here by this window. There's a little table next to it. There's all of these things in this room. There are 4 windows in the room. Okay, so you've actually gathered kind of what this room is like. Is it warm? Is it cold? There are blankets in a little basket in the corner. Okay, you've kind of felt your way around in the dark. You've gathered the room. You know the room well. However, you haven't seen it clearly. You switch on the light. The lights come on. It's the same room. It's the same stuff, except you're seeing it clearly. It doesn't take as long as it took you to gather all the information about what is in that room. It will not take you that same length of time to see that room clearly. That is the instant, and that light is the light that I see coming on. For someone who was starting to lose hope and really getting annoyed at their world, and it may actually be starting to build a form of like resentment. Okay, and they're saying there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you here. I'm not telling you that you're perfect. I'm not giving you sort of that, but they're saying your sense of dissatisfaction, lack of inspiration, all of those things, you know, peace, satisfaction, energy, inspiration, all these things. It's all like a type of energy. It's like your coin. And so it's because you've outsourced that. You've given it away, and you've expected it to reap you results, and you've put it into places where it's just being consumed. It's not invested as much as you are in seeing you have a return, realize a return. You're in it for different reasons. And sometimes this is a painful realization. However, what I see is like you've been in this space where the pain has been drawn out so long and been given in these little doses for so long. You're almost like used to that space, but you've kind of lately woken up and you're like, what the hell? This is not inspiring. This is not working for me. What is all of this anyway? What is all of this anyway? And so they're saying, ask those questions. This is part of this. But they're saying the healing is going to start. The healing is going to start. This is your journey towards like realism. So like, I think realism is like where like hope meets skepticism. It's somewhere in the middle there where you're getting real with yourself. And it's giving me like the energy of nothing to lose. And that's why you're not fighting this anymore. That's why you're not fighting this anymore. And they're saying that now this is where you're going to start to be able to figure out what it is you want, because you're going to start being like, no, I don't want that. That's not what I want. I don't want that. You're going to go through that stage until you start to feel something again. You're going to clear those layers that stop you from being able to really feel what it is you want to feel and touch. And so they're saying you're going to be able to touch it because you're shedding a lot of these layers now. You're shedding a lot of the noise. You're removing a lot of the clutter. You're allowing yourself to see things in reality, and you're going to now move closer towards, not subscribing to illusion. Okay, because what you want is something real, and you're not sure what's real anymore. Sometimes when you look around you and you see where you've been. Okay? I'm going to leave this reading here. Thank you so much to everyone who supports the channel in all of your various ways. It's interesting. I'm listening to I'm reflecting on this reading and how it felt like it was for a very particular person, so much so that I distanced myself from it. And as I reflect, I recognize collective energy is collective energy. And so this is a reflection of the times, and this is a reflection of, a review on where have you invested. And for me, I can recognize the aspect of myself that may be playing out here internally. And so thank you to everyone who does often continue to listen, even when maybe at first it doesn't seem like the message is for you. I've found that this is the most open way to approach listening to readings. Even when I'm reading for you, it's that distance that allows me to read evenly, in the dark, to read what I see, rather than to personalize it before and then end up projecting into the reading. And so now on the other side of it, I'm able to listen and be like, okay, I see what this is about. Reading is very funny sometimes. If you're interested in more of my readings, I'd love to invite you to join memberships. And to every single existing current member, I look forward to having coffee again with you soon. Sending you all so much love.